is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Roy, in a parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back. What happened to the championship? Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Join the party. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And if you really want to support the channel, smash that like button. And also let me know down below in the comment section, what do you see as the Dodgers six-man rotation? Who will fill out that six-man rotation in 2025 for the Dodgers? And of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with a poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, where will Roki Sasaki sign? This definitely won't be biased because it's a Dodgers account, but 80% say the Dodgers and 17% say the Padres, 3% say other. So we got an update on Roki Sasaki we're going to get into, but we are back in the studio, Dodgers Nation headquarters, and Antonio is back. Antonio's been sick. Antonio was sick, I think, because Clayton Kershaw hasn't re-signed yet. But Antonio, how you feeling, my man?
Oh, much better. It's been a brutal couple of days, but I'm glad to be back in the office.
It's your World Series hangover coming back to haunt you, man.
Something like that. Just all of a sudden, I just had a little fever, but I'm glad to be back in front of all you guys.
And Antonio, he'll be looking for your comments of the show. So if you got any comments, definitely fire them away. If you have any questions that aren't on topic, ask anyway, and we'll feature them and answer them during the seventh inning stretch. So Antonio's looking for your comments of the show. You'll have the super chats featured on the screen, and Noise by Noel Young Lotto. Noel Sanchez is here, and he's in a newsroom in 2006, which is pretty cool.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, Noel?
What's up, man? I'm doing a little time travel, went back, took the DeLorean, and, I'm vibing with y'all now.
You know, Noel, since you've been on the show, I mean, your baseball love has really turned up. You at one point I first met you, I feel like you're like 90-10 basketball, baseball. Now I think it's reversed. I mean, where are you at with that?
Man, I even texted the group chat yesterday, and I told you guys I'm missing Dodger baseball right now. I can't lie. I just feel being a part of this show, being a part of this community, especially this morning show, 1 hour a day every week. I've been feeling the love from everybody, and it was just an awesome ride. And this offseason has been fun. All the meet and greets, all the lookalike events, just everybody waiting for these players' decisions. I'm feeling the hype right now. That's, it's definitely 90-10 right now. It's flipped the other way. I've gone a full 180.
There's people in the comments that are still extremely disappointed in you that you did not enter the Anthony Bonta lookalike contest. It's not too late to have another one, but
when I was there with Tony, some of the contestants were telling me I should enter. But
hey, I told you to do it, but I mean, forget it. Maybe
I think the owner of our company, Gary Lee, will be happy to know I was there working, not to win the contest. I was there to work and cover.
That could be a vlog. That could be content of itself. But we'll check in with those guys in a minute too. And like I said, fire away down below in the comment section. But of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So we did a show last night, gave you the latest on Teoscar. We'll talk a little bit about that. If there's any more developments, we'll hit that. But really the leadoff is about another one of the Dodgers' coveted offseason potential moves, and that is pitcher Roki Sasaki. And this morning, Buster Olney, friend of the show, ESPN MLB Insider, he did a piece with Jeff Passan where they answered some of the top pressing questions for Major League Baseball this offseason, and it was about Roki Sasaki. And Buster Olney had this to say about Sasaki. The conversation about Sasaki echoes what was said about Shohei Ohtani when he was first made available for an MLB deal. All teams will do their due diligence, prepare a sales pitch, get their PowerPoints and highlight videos ready because Sasaki is so great and at this stage of his career, so affordable. Teams don't know the player and don't know what he really wants, but there is widespread industry belief, correct or not, that Sasaki has probably already picked a team, and it's most likely the Dodgers. All of these clubs will go through the process, however, and at the end, a lot of execs are going to complain that it was a waste of their time. So give that a nice little charge right there, because you see the end. Yes, it's speculation, but that has been the widespread belief for a long time now. And Bob Nightingale, he was on the show last week, and he said it would be down to two teams, the Dodgers and the Padres. Well, Jeff Passan, he did follow that up by mentioning some other teams. Passan said the industry should not forget about the San Diego Padres, the Texas Rangers, Chicago Cubs. Never forget that when Ohtani's free agent process was playing out, the Los Angeles Angels were never mentioned among the favorites. So that's a really good point that definitely bears repeating, that if you're following the Shohei Ohtani signing saga back in 2018, you didn't hear much about the Angels. And he ultimately signed there because he said that it was a gut instinct. Something inside told him to sign with the Angels. So you can have the best pitch. You can show them that your team is the team where he'll have the most success. But at the end of the day, that player has to feel comfortable in that situation. And Shohei felt very comfortable in Anaheim. And the question is, will Roki Sasaki feel comfortable with the Dodgers? Now, a little rewind on the process, the posting process, and where Roki Sasaki is at right now. Because a couple weeks ago, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, he said that Sasaki's posting was most likely going to go into 2025. And once he entered that 2025 signing period, that hurt the Dodgers in the sense that the Dodgers, for the previous signing period in 2024, had the most money, the most international bonus pool money left. So when you kick it into the next cycle, you give other teams opportunities financially. And when we had Jim Allen, the NPB baseball writer, on the show a couple weeks ago, before Rob Manfred said that, he also said that it was almost a guarantee that he was going to be posted in 2025, because he told us that in Japan, that would have been viewed as a punishment for Roki Sasaki. That if you would only open it up to one or two teams and you give that team, the Dodgers, the best advantage financially to sign him, that would be a punishment for him. So the optics of that wouldn't have looked good for the Chibalote Marines. It would have made Roki Sasaki kind of look bad too. So it only made sense. Now, when the 2025 signing period does begin, that starts on January 15th. Now, when that starts, the Dodgers will be tied with the San Francisco Giants with the lowest amount of money in that pool. They'll have the smallest pool in all of Major League Baseball at $5.146 million. The Dodgers forfeited 2 draft picks and $1 million in international pool space when they signed Shohei Ohtani last offseason. Remember, the system is designed for the Dodgers not to have a great farm system, not to have sustainable winning. And of course, you're happy to give up those draft picks and lose $1 million in international bonus pool money when it comes with Shohei Ohtani, but is something that is an obstacle that adds up over time. Now, you can add money to your bonus pool. You can add money in $250,000 increments, but a team can only get up to 60% of their initial pool allotment. So the Dodgers can only get 60% of that $5.146 million. So if the Dodgers do a lot of wheeling and dealing, make some moves, and find a way to increase their amount, you could take that $5.146 million and bump it up to around $8.25 million. And you're going to have to trade a lot of assets to get that amount of money. Now, the Dodgers have been light as far as the Latin America market for 2025, as far as making these commitments ahead of time. So clearly they have positioned themselves to, at the very least, maximize the resources they do have and the money they do have. But if you look at where the Dodgers are at, you would have to trade a lot to get that $3.09 million, 60% maximum amount added. Now, you look at teams like the Reds, the Tigers, the Marlins, the Twins, the Brewers, the A's, the Mariners, and the Rays. they start with $7.5 million in 2025. The Padres, they'll start with $6.26 million. So look, I don't care how much the A's have. It doesn't matter. Okay. The A's can have a ton of money. They're not getting Roki Sasaki. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're the same. They're probably not getting Roki Sasaki. I know that somehow, some way, the Rays were linked to Juan Soto at some point, which was insane. I think they pay him $630 million, $1 million a year for the next 630 years. I don't know how they could pull that off. But the point I'm trying to make here is you look at the teams that have the maximum money. Are they true threats for the Dodgers? I think the answer is no. But the Padres certainly are a threat. They're the team you have to worry about, and they don't have that much more at $6.26 million. So look, the team that could give the most, you could bump that up to $12 million. The Padres, you could get up to around $10 million. But what I was told when it comes to Roki Sasaki, Jim Allen on the show, other people, is that he's not coming here for the money. Because if he was all about the money, he would wait a couple of seasons until he was 25, until he could hit free agency like Yoshinobu Yamamoto did and sign a deal worth north of $300 million if he stays healthy and continues to emerge as one of the best pitching prospects on the planet. He wants to get into a situation that he feels is going to make him the best pitcher that he can be. And what I was told when it comes to Roki Sasaki is a light switch turned on for him during the WBC when he faced big league hitters. And at the WBC, he got a taste of what it felt like to go against what I was told was the big boys. And that Roki Sasaki wants to pitch against the big boys. So I think if you're Roki Sasaki, if he is in a position where, okay, I want to go to a team that I think is going to maximize my skill set and optimize my skills. Well, we know the connection with Yu Darvish, right? And Yu Darvish, he has talked a lot about, okay, I want to have players follow me and join me from Japan and try to help me along the way. Well, the thing about Yu Darvish is, first of all, I love you. Yu Darvish, love watching him pitch. One of my favorite players of all time to watch pitch. Houston Astros did him so dirty, all the hate that he got. Yu's a real one. You turned 38 in August. If you are Roki Sasaki, going to the Padres as a move to link up with Yu Darvish at 38 doesn't make sense. You only go to the Padres if you're Roki Sasaki because you want to go to a smaller market, a little more comfortable market, a great city. No one's saying San Diego isn't a great city. Best Mexican food in the game. No one's saying that. But is it truly the best for his future? I think that if you're Roki Sasaki, and look, if I'm him, obviously I'm signed with the Dodgers, even if I have no affiliation or I'm not a fan or whatever it may be, just because you have a chance to make history. You have a chance to join two other great Japanese players in Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani. And from an endorsement standpoint, I think you stand to earn more money on an endorsement level being on the Los Angeles Dodgers. So has he made a deal? Has he already made his decision? No one knows right now, but his agent, Joe Wolf, a couple weeks ago, he vehemently denied it. Joel Wolf of Wasserman, he told The Athletic a couple weeks ago about the notion that his client has already made his decision. He already has a handshake, wink, wink deal with the Dodgers. He shot that down. He said, while a bunch of executives who should know me better and do a lot of business with me insult my integrity by insinuating that I would be a part of some type of nefarious agreement, in reality, this is just poor sportsmanship. So, look, agents are going to say a lot of things. And if you're Joel Wolf, you don't want tampering. You don't want to make it seem like the Dodgers and you're based in Los Angeles. Look, it is a foregone conclusion. You kind of take away the moment from Roki Sasaki too. If that is the case, of course he's going to say that. I mean, he was definitely heated with the way he reacted to that. But I do think that if you are the Dodgers in this, that, hey, if he ultimately does pick you, is anyone going to be surprised? If it's ultimately announced that Roki Sasaki is signing with the Dodgers everyone's going to say it was always the Dodgers, that it was the Dodgers the entire time. So we'll see what happens. And I have to think it's the Dodgers. I do, because it's a 6-man rotation. You're in a great situation where you're not being forced to be the guy. If he goes to San Diego, he's going to be on billboards, and he's going to be one of the biggest reasons why you come to see the Padres on the mound, right? I mean, they got stars like Tatis and Manny Machado, guys like that. But if he's with the Dodgers, it can be a more of a relaxed, seamless transition. One thing I was told about Roki was that they hope that they don't force him right into the rotation, right out of spring training. Because remember, when you sign him, you don't have to put him on the 40-man roster. And you can let him ramp up and get comfortable. So look, I mean, go to the Dodgers, Roki. I mean, come on. What are you waiting for? Roki of the year. It'd be a beautiful thing in Los Angeles. And the way that this impacts the team as a whole is a 6-man rotation. And we're going to talk about that next here on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. So if you want to listen to the show in audio form, when you're driving to Dodger Stadium, when you're driving from Dodger Stadium, when you're commuting to work, wherever it is, you definitely want to lock into the podcast. We're going to start featuring some podcast exclusives, interviews. So definitely, even if you do watch the show daily on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast wherever your podcast. So be sure to do that. It really supports the channel. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live. By the way, if you haven't yet, Christmas is coming. Go to gearup.la, the official merch store of Dodgers Nation. Pick up all of the best Dodgers gear in the game. You got the Kike one right there, the WDGAF. I need a Kike re-signing, by the way. I don't want to talk about that. You have our latest What Are They Going to Say Now poster. You got the Walker Buehler silhouette. He's doing your gladiator pose right there. How about the Freddie Meet Gibby shirt to celebrate the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history, the Gibby Meet Freddie? You got the classic Vin Scully type call right there. But that, you also got the Mookie shirt, the 8-bit. You got the Three Sisters shirt. Real Dodgers fans definitely will love the gear over at Gear Up LA. So get merched up. We got some new t-shirts we're cooking up to along the way. So definitely go to gearup.la. So let's go to the chat, though. Let's hear what you guys have to say about Roki Sasaki. We got Richard Flores, always rocking with us. Give me a little Let's Go Dodgers there. What up, Richard? 199. Give me Teo or give me death. Say no to Soto. Yeah, say it ain't Soto, right? I mean, that's been kind of where you guys have been with Juan Soto. And of course, I think that you speak for all Dodgers fans. Everyone wants to see Teo back in Dodger Blue. And I have been consistent since the very first show after the season that I felt that the Dodgers were going to re-sign Teoscar Hernandez. This was my prediction at the beginning. Nothing has changed with that. And I think that the Dodgers are going through a process, and their process is about due diligence. And when you have a generational player in Juan Soto that's available, then you're in a position where you owe it to your organization. You owe it to, I mean, Andrew Friedman told us a couple days ago that they feel pressure for what basically is given to them. And that's a team that has a rich history and a lot of financial resources. So they feel pressure to put together the best roster possible. And pursuing Juan Soto is a part of that. You can't say to yourself, you're the Dodgers, did we put together the best roster possible and do everything in our power to do that if we didn't, at the very least, try to sign Juan Soto? Now, will they sign him? I don't think they will. My prediction still stands. I think it ends up with the New York Mets, because I think the New York Mets are going to pay him a lot of money. He wants to be in New York. He's going to have his own face of the franchise. I mean, Aaron Judge is always going to be the guy on the Yankees. I mean, it feels like when A-Rod went to the Yankees, we knew that he was a better player than Derek Jeter. They weren't even close. With Juan Soto, they're close. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge are closer than A-Rod and Derek Jeter were. but still, it's Aaron Judge's franchise. So I think that's why it makes sense for Juan Soto to be with the Mets. We got Ricardo Moreno, $5 super chat. Give Roki as much tortas as he can come play for the Dodgers. Can you pay in tortas? Maybe that's a new deferral level of payment structure they can have. I don't think that's going to be the case, but yeah, Antonio, I mean, look, you know, this rotation stacked, and I mean, this could have impacted your guy, Clayton Kershaw, because you won't have to rush him back. Of course, he's someone that is expected to re-sign with the Dodgers. I think they'll re-sign him close to February, so he can get placed right on that 60-day IL and not have to take up a roster spot. But yeah, man, you watch a lot of WBC. You're like Mr. WBC. You like your Team Mexico.
Yes, sir.
You love the WBC.
I love Team Mexico.
Did Roki stand out to you? Was he on your radar during the WBC? Because when I saw him pumping 102, actually Moto, he talked about Roki even before the WBC on this show, but I think that's kind of where he entered the international conversation with baseball fans.
Yes, it was fun watching Roki, but don't forget, Roki gave up a 3-run home run against Luis Urias at Mexico versus Japan. So I was like, oh, right, I love seeing this. But obviously, if he's a Dodger, I don't want to see him give up 3-run home runs. But I mean, throughout the tournament against Australia, I think, Czech Republic, he was mowing down hitters. So
got Antonio praying on his downfall already. Man.
Never forget Luis Urias.
Luis Urias.
That was a great game.
That was a great game. I love those Team Mexico jerseys. Noel, what's kind of the consensus with Roki on social media? Because I feel like people are kind of in that stage of like, who is this guy?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think people have seen enough tape on him, and they've been hearing the hype over the past couple of years, and obviously seeing how Yamamoto came to MLB with the Dodgers outside of his injury. He did very well, especially in the postseason, came up when it mattered most, to get excited about even more young pitchers coming out of Japan being linked to the Dodgers. Obviously, we see all the endorsement deals that they're getting because of the superstars that they're recruiting. And of course, there was that video of Andrew Friedman a couple years ago when he went to scout Roki Sasaki in person. He had the mask on, so he was being COVID safe. But it really feels like if Sasaki goes anywhere but the Dodgers, people are going to be very, very surprised. His agent went out of his way to assure that nothing is, under the table going on, just out of respect for the sport. But I mean, to not go play with your best friends on the Dodgers, not play in a huge market. They're going to go to Japan for the season opener, and to turn down the opportunity to learn from everybody within the Dodgers, I would be surprised as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. You mentioned Andrew Friedman being involved. I mean, he said on this show that they were going to try to aggressively get back in the Japanese market. Yes. And he mentioned that they're developing pitchers at a faster rate in Japan than they are here. And like you point out, there's that one video where you could tell that Friedman didn't want to be in that video, right? He had the mask on. He was wearing his blue shades. And there was also a picture that was taken a couple months ago. And when we talked to Jim Allen, he mentioned that Andrew Friedman was there to scout him even just a couple months ago. Yeah. And Allen told me that was one of Sasaki's best games of the year. He had a 10 strikeout game. It was a shutout. But yeah, why don't you ask that lady behind you if Sasaki has made his decision?
She's a little busy right now.
She's a little busy right now?
Yeah, I don't want to bother her.
She's probably on it, though. Yeah. Totally. She's probably on it. But yeah, let us know down below in the comment section. Is Roki Sasaki going to be a Dodger? Because I mean, I've talked about this, but the Dodgers are just taking advantage of everything that's coming their way. And to get a Roki Sasaki, a pitcher that easily would get more than Blake Snell. You guys realize that if Roki Sasaki was a free agent, he would sign for more money than Blake Snell just did with the Dodgers. He would most likely sign for more money than Corbin Burns is going to get, than Max Fried is going to get. Why? Phenom status and his age. So think about this. The Dodgers last season got Shohei Ohtani on a contract where, yes, on paper, $700 million. The truth is the net present value of that was $461 million, something in that range. And you're paying him $2 million around that in cash. And then the rest of that's deferred until 2034. On top of that, he's making at the very least $70 million for you. At the very most, we've heard numbers that are north of $100 million. So you get a player that helped you win a World Series in year one, where you're probably making a profit off of him. And then the following season, you get a player like Roki Sasaki, because Roki Sasaki, it has been said that he had a very similar deal that Shohei Ohtani had, where when he was ready to go to Major League Baseball, that his team would let him out and post him before he was ready to go by their standards. And you get that player at that rate. So the Dodgers are really taking full advantage of not what the CBA offers, not manipulating anything. They're taking advantage of players wanting to play for this franchise, and they deserve all the credit for that. But let's take a look at the 6-man rotation, because that's going to be one of the big storylines heading into the 2025 season. Entering spring training, there's going to be a lot about the 6-man rotation, because Dodgers general manager Brandon Gomes already said that it's a, quote, fair bet that the Dodgers are going to a 6-man rotation. And a couple days ago, I asked Blake Snell about his thoughts on pitching in a 6-man rotation, his experience doing that. Here's what Blake Snell said.
Welcome to LA, Blake. There's some talk about going to a 6-man rotation next season. Just want to get your thoughts on the possibility of pitching in a 6-man rotation, if those were at all part of the discussions.
Yeah, I mean, let's get to spring training, meet the team, see how everything works out. We'll kind of go from there. I pitched on a 6-man rotation, 5-man. I pitched on 4-man rotations. I'm good with it all. As long as we have a plan, we'll execute it, and I'm good with it.
So he's good with it. He said as long as there's a plan, it's about executing it. And I think that that was a major sticking point during the negotiations and with the Dodgers' interest in Blake Snell, because you bring him into a team where, yes, you look at the rotation right now, it's not going to look the same in October. Injuries are inevitable, but you don't need 180 innings from Blake Snell. I hear everyone out there, oh, Blake Snell, he doesn't go deep into games. Last season, he pitched a no-hitter, and he was pitching deeper into games. He has sort of debunked that myth to a degree. And the reason why he doesn't pitch deep into games or he doesn't throw strikes is not because he's not capable of it, is because he doesn't want to give in to the hitter. It's because his stuff is so hard to hit that he gets a lot of chase out of the zone. So there's that misconception. I think that he's going to be perfect for a 6-man rotation because you can get 120, 130 innings out of him in the regular season and then get that 25 up to 25 in the postseason. Now, if you look at the benefits of a 6-man rotation, certainly it is, one, to reduce the workload of your starting pitchers. You don't want guys going 160 to 100 to 200 anymore in Major League Baseball. You want them to pitch the amount of innings they need to make sure you're getting your starts in, you're having your rhythm, but you're not burying them into the ground. And with Blake Snell, he's someone that twice in his career, he's pitched over 180 innings. Those were his 2 Cy Young years. You don't need another Cy Young from Blake Snell. You need a World Series ring on Blake Snell, not a Cy Young. Tyler Glasnow, he couldn't make it through a full season. You're going to want to cut those innings down. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he missed almost 3 months. Shohei Ohtani's coming off a second major arm surgery. So all 4 of their aces, as great as they are, they're pitchers that could get the ball in game 1 of a postseason series, but they're all pitchers that will benefit from throwing less innings. And that is the benefit of having a 6-man rotation. And then here is the ultimate cheat code. Here's the up, down, left, right, A, B, A, C, B, whatever the cheat code is. The cheat code is that their ace, at least one of them, just so happens to be a position player, where he is on the roster as a 2-way player. And when you're on the roster as a 2-way player, well, that's massive because you don't have to take up a pitcher spot and you can have 14 pitchers on your roster, not 13 like the rest of Major League Baseball. So, 15 if they re-sign Kike Hernandez, because we know he's a part of the Dogs too. He's a pitcher too. But with Shohei Ohtani, you can have a 6-man rotation and a full bullpen. So this is going to be one of the possible major game changers. Like I said, I cannot stress that enough. The Dodgers, they get an extra roster spot. They can carry 14 pitchers when everyone around Major League Baseball has to only keep 3. So really the reason why teams don't have 6-man rotations, and you saw the Orioles, they actually had success with it for stretches last season. One of the major reasons why teams don't go to 6-man rotations is, one, they don't have 6 really good starting pitchers. The Dodgers do because of the depth that they have, because of the talent that they have. So that's easy. You go past the big 4, Clayton Kershaw is going to re-sign. And at some point, hopefully he'll be ready to give you 80 to 100-ish innings. Roki Sasaki hopefully signs, and he gives you 20-plus starts. Tony Gonsolin is back. Dustin May is back. Bobby Miller, do you give him another opportunity? You got guys like Ben Casperius, and you got guys like Landon Knack, who can fill in starts. And I think that's how you'll see their 6-man rotation play out, is the 6th start could be an occasional spot start or even a bullpen game at one point. So you got the depth to do it. And that really is what prevents teams from even considering it. Do we have 6 guys that can do it? Because if you have a 6-man rotation and that starter only goes 3 or 4 innings, you have to tax that bullpen, well, then you're in trouble. But the Dodgers, like I said, you have basically 14 pitchers, your bullpen can handle it, and your starters are good enough to go deep enough regularly to make it make sense. And then it's the roster situation. That's the biggest loophole, and that's what they're going to take advantage of. And then on top of that, look, Shohei Ohtani, he was in a 6-man rotation with the Angels. Roki Sasaki, 6-man rotation. Yamamoto, 6-man rotation, the NPB. Makes sense for them. So, look, I think that this is one of the most under-discussed things heading into the 2025 season, is this advantage that the Dodgers are going to have. And Andrew Friedman told us a couple days ago that they are going to wrap their arms around, is what he said, wrap their arms around the problem of pitcher injuries. And he was very careful to note that this is not something that is just a Dodgers problem. It is a league-wide problem, but the Dodgers have been bitten more than other teams. The Dodgers had more pitchers spend time on the IL. The overall IL days for the Dodgers, it was more for this team than any team in the sport. They used a franchise record 40 pitchers last season. 40 pitchers. And that'll be a fun game. Well, next show, we'll see how many, we'll try to name them all. We'll do that next time. We got a lot to catch them on this show. But 40 pitchers, and you end up with 3 starters in the postseason. So 6-man rotation is going to be big. But let me know down below in the comment section. Who do you want to see in your 6-man rotation? Do you want to see Walker Buehler back? Do you want to see Jack Flaherty back? I don't think that Jack Flaherty is going to be back. I think that there is a less than 5% chance that Jack Flaherty is back with the Dodgers. Walker Buehler, I think there's less than a 50% chance at this point. You look at what Frankie Montas signed for a couple days ago, getting $17 million per season on a $34 million contract. I had someone tell me that Walker Buehler made himself millions in the postseason. So, hey, what would you rather have? Walker Buehler earning himself millions in the postseason and that leading to him striking out Alex Verdugo and getting that final out of the World Series, and him going 13 scoreless innings in the postseason, pitching well when you desperately need it, and him pricing himself out of being back with the Dodgers, or the other way around, whereas he pitched in the postseason, got rocked, and then was affordable on a $15 million deal, and he was back with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers didn't win the World Series. Give me A, okay? And I think there's something cool about the fact that, hey, you got your once a Dodger, always Dodger card forever, Walker Buehler. He'll never pay for any whiskey. He won't have to pay for a beer bong. He won't have to pay for any beer, whatever he was sipping on that day ever in LA. So this would be something kind of cool about the fact that his last pitch ever as a Dodger would be getting the final out of the World Series. Who do you think would win a drinking contest, Antonio or Walker Buehler? Let me know down below in the comment section. Tony Tanks, you think you could take him? Tony Tallboys.
I think I can. But hey, maybe it's
like I said, we're gonna. Noel, we gotta. He's sick, but we gotta line it up. Chug McKain versus Tony Tallboys. Okay,
man, we need that.
We get to see who finishes first. You're doing a pint of beer, and I do a shot because that's the handicap. Because you have the advantage.
All right, I'll do anything against you.
No, we'll do double pint. What beer are we going with though?
Let's go with Modelo, fool.
Modelo. we could have gotten 3 Modelos if it wasn't for Noel not entering the Anthony Bonda lookalike contest. Now you go out there and buy your own Modelos.
So I actually did it on purpose because I knew Antonio was working too. If he got those Modelos in him, he would have started shaking with the camera, you know.
Okay, you know what? I take it back. That was the right call. That was the right. We know.
And then if I got the $100, he would have spent it all on like more Modelos too. So
I would never take your money, Noah. Maybe your Modelos.
That's the right call. But we got Mike Lopez, $2 super chat. We've got we have those 2 games in Japan for 2025. Eyes on Sasaki. Yeah, and with Shohei Ohtani most likely not going to be ready to go for the start of the season. You won't be seeing him on the mound. Yamamoto, you have to assume he'll start one of those 2 games. And he started in Seoul, South Korea. But can you imagine how electric that would be? Getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Roki Sasaki in Japan. It goes against what someone told me that they don't want to rush him through. That's definitely rushing him through. And I also think, too, look, I mean, Blake Snell would be cool. Glasnow would be cool. Look, it's an embarrassment of pitches for this Dodgers team. But coming up next, we got some designated Twitter. I asked you guys over on the X, what is an A+? What is an A+ offseason like for the Dodgers? And also, we've got our tweets of the week. So this is right now on designated Twitter. And also, let us know down below in the comment section, what is your A+? What is your A+ offseason for your Los Angeles Dodgers? Because I think it could end pretty soon with a couple more sightings, and you're doing pretty good. But you want to run that designated Twitter?
Designated Twitter, the best of Dodgers social media.
We got a super chat from Hearst Hill 999. That's going to our international bonus pool fund. I think Teo's good. I think Teo's going to get his money. We need the super chat money goes to the international bonus pool money because we're going to need it for Roki. D-Mac, what do you think about the golden bat rule? I think it's stupid. I think it's very Savannah Bananas. I think it's something that really you should try in an all-star game first, but it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Rob Manfred coming up with the golden bat rule is absolutely insane to me. But having said that, it would work for the Dodgers. I mean, if you have to pick a golden bat rule team that you would love, I mean, imagine bringing up Shohei Ohtani. Imagine bringing Freddie Freeman in any situation. Imagine bringing Mookie Betts up in any situation. But I think it's a pretty bad idea. I mean, one of my big dreams, one of my big wishes is if Rob Manfred actually liked baseball, and it kind of made me kind of feel that way. But Antonio, thoughts on the golden bat rule?
It's pretty whack in my opinion.
Yeah.
1 second. Yeah. I mean, you have all these rules benefiting the hitters. What about the pitchers? Why don't they do like a golden fielder rule? You know what I mean? But I think it's whack. It's like you said, Savannah Banana style. It's almost kind of like a Mario like baseball game option, you know?
No, it is Mario baseball. It's like, dude, at that point, might as well bring out a freaking tee and let the hitter hit off a freaking tee. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's so corny. It's absolutely so corny.
I know.
It'd be like, I mean, I don't even know what would the basketball equivalent be? Like letting Steph Curry come out and shoot any shot like at the free throw line, but I mean, that's not really going to change the game in that situation. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are you in on the golden bat rule, Noel?
No, I don't like it because I think one of like my favorite parts of baseball since I've started watching is like the unlikely heroes coming up in clutch moments.
It's a great point. It's a great point.
You know, dudes make a name for themselves, potentially, get a new contract because they start coming up in clutch situations. But if you start bringing up like your superstars at the bottom of the order during crucial times of the game, it just takes away that feel-good feeling, the players that inspire other generations of younger athletes to come up. So that's why I don't really like. I'm not really too big of a fan of it.
It's so corny. I mean, I almost can't believe it. I mean, I was actually going to dedicate a whole DFA of the day to it. But yeah, I mean, my whole thing with, if you want people to watch baseball and blackouts, not golden bat rules. But yeah, I mean, let's start with the All-Star game. But, what if they actually made him use the golden bat too? If like actually had a special bat. I mean,
that'd be kind of crazy. And then they play like a little song. You walk out. That'd be crazy. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's absolutely insane. I mean, at that point, just let one player bat like 15,000 times. But yeah, I'm not in on the golden bat rule. But let's get to your tweets, guys, because we asked you guys what's an A+ off season over on the X. Go follow us, by the way, on X and Instagram, on TikTok, Snapchat. What's the new one? Blue Wire Wave, Blue Sky. What's up with Blue Sky? I mean, you gotta be on that or. I don't know, Gary, what's up, Blue Sky, man? Is it legit? We have a Blue Sky?
Yeah.
At Dodgers Nation. Follow us on Blue Sky. Dodger Blue Sky. Definitely follow us over.
Yeah, go mess with us on Threads. Threads, we're still active on Threads, man. Shout out Threads. Shout out every meta platform.
Hey, man. All I got is on the Blue Sky, the first thing we do is block Noah, but we got no, just play.
Hey,
but
Blue Sky, shout out Breaking Bad. Blue Sky, real Breaking Bad.
Hey,
fans
no,
Blue Sky.
we'll spend a whole episode on that, but let's get right into it. So we got Oscar, already got Snell, Teo, and Shrine would be an A. Sasaki, well, first of all, yeah, you got two of those three you got to still work on, Teo and Shrine. Sasaki would be the cherry on top, A+. That's solid. I think that's an A. I think that's an A. I think it's an A. That's an A+. That's an A+. We got Showtani Bets Champs 2024, Teo, Trinan, and Kike. That's what I'm saying. I don't see a plus unless it involves Kike Hernandez. The Banana Man, speaking of bananas, the Banana Man has to be back. Teo, Trinan, and Kike would make it an A+ off season. I think I would add Roki to that. If you add Roki to that, then I'm okay. Possibly Willie Adames as well. We got the Josh B's, the Dodgers Mensch. His A+ offseason. Snell done. Extend Edmund done. Sign Teo, Adames, Trinan, and of course Sasaki. If the above happens, trade Lux and another prospect for Devin Williams. So I respect that. Getting the trade vibe in there. Jeff says, need to bring back Trinan, Kike, and figure out what they want to do at shortstop or center field. Or if that is a platoon with Edmund and Miggy, with maybe Outman coming back to play center field. Pages was a bit of an experience with his fielding. Sasaki would be a major bonus. Teoscar is a must sign, obviously. Obviously. Give you a nice little, I'll give you a little fire take for that one. Philip, I like this one. He gives it Adames, Sasaki, and Teo. Yeah, Adames, Sasaki, and Teo. I mean, you don't have Trinan back. Remember, Dave Roberts said you got to get that reliever too. Remember on Mookie's podcast, and I think he was talking about Blake Trinan. So I don't think that's an A+ for most teams. The Dodgers A+ is very different. We've got Sean, Teo, and Shrine re-signing maybe one more reclamation project for the Prior Lab. We got landing one more ace pitcher, a shortstop, Teo, Walker, and Shrine. That's from DJ Homicide. Give you a nice little Dodgers right there. And then we got some other ones too. Here's some of the best tweets we saw. And this is from Future Hendricks _23. Dodgers sending Freddie Freeman up every time they play the Yankees. Yeah. Yeah. That's give you a nice let's go Dodgers for that one. We got Pretty Happy Fan. Yo, did anyone get this Dodgers Wrapped? So you guys got your Wrapped right now, your Dodgers Wrapped, and everyone's got their songs they're listening to, their artists. Well, this one's Dodgers Wrapped is from I Am Not DDF. Top players, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Will Smith. Okay, I'll take that. Top moments for their Dodgers Wrapped. Dodgers win the World Series. Freeman walk-off grand slam. Ohtani 50-50. 40-40 walk-off grand slam. 34 straight scoreless innings. You pretty much nailed it. I got to give that one a comment of the show. That's the tweet of the week. So I think you nailed that list. The only honorable mention I would put in there would be the back-to-back home runs from Ohtani and Betts, and when Betts had his first walk-off with the Dodgers. But it's tough for me to argue because I was at the 40-40 walk-off grand slam, the flair for the dramatic to be the first 40-40 guy in Dodgers history and do it in grand slam fashion. Shohei Ohtani's from another universe. In the 34 straight scoreless innings, you really don't win the World Series without that. So I'm okay. I think I would bump the 34 straight scoreless innings above the 40-40. And then the only regular season one I give is the Ohtani 50-50 because that was unbelievable. That was Superman of baseball cleats that day. Got some super chats here. Sports cards, report cards, 199. Kike Hernandez can be a part of the 6-man rotation. Exactly. I mean, he's part of the Dogs. Got to get Kike back. Marcos Gutierrez, sorry about that. 499, how does the rotation look if we get both Sasaki and Buehler? So I think in that event, you probably would make some trades to kind of get these other guys some opportunities. And I think too, that Clayton Kershaw wouldn't be back right away. I think that's kind of one of the big things. Clayton Kershaw wouldn't be back right away. And at some point, like I said, Friedman said that they were entering the season hoping to be sellers at the deadline. That's what they were talking about in February. And by the time October rolled around, you had 3 starters. The deadline, they traded for a starter. So there's no such thing as too much pitching. We have Raymond, $10 super chat. Appreciate that. Christopher, Navarro, $5. D-Mac, do you think Kike would be a great Savannah Banana? Oh my gosh. He would be, I mean, Savannah Bananas, I mean, whenever he retires, that could be like his version of like a great soccer player. Like when Messi went to the MLS, Kike going to the Savannah Bananas could be something similar. They should absolutely give him a bag. He would sell some serious tickets. But a couple more chats here. Let's go to the 7th inning stretch, guys. Anything you guys got, fire away and let us know. What is your A+ off season? Your A+ off season for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Let's hit that 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
We got Cole. Noel looks like Miguel Vargas, not Bonda.
If there's a Miggy Vargas contest, I'll win that.
Kind of the shape of his dome, I would say, yeah. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But he's a much happier guy than Miguel Vargas. He's still in LA. He's not in Chicago.
I'm like Miguel Vargas when he was in LA for sure. That was my guy.
So he looks like Miguel Vargas. I look like Will Smith. Who does Antonio look like? Let us know down below.
Actually, when I interviewed Tommy Edman, someone in the YouTube comments said, "Why is Bonda interviewing Tommy Edman?" So it's a mix. We should run a poll.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had to see with the facial hair and the glasses. You know, we got Nelson D-Mac. What do you think of the Golden Bat? We talked about that. Joe Rodriguez, D-Mac. Do you see Bobby Miller getting back on track next year? That's a good question. I think with Bobby Miller, it's a combination of things. It's the mental component, how healthy he is, the opportunity he gets, and the pitch mix, quite frankly. Because Bobby Miller, when he's right, he's fantastic. His rookie season, he was a top 3 rookie pitcher in baseball. His second year, it wasn't as good. He was dealing with injuries, dealing with a abductor. He was dealing with shoulder. The velocity was down at times. But he did have his games. He really did. He really did have his games where you saw the potential in Bobby Miller. And as long as he's flashing that potential, I still think that you have to believe in him. I'm not selling any real estate from Bobby Miller Island. I bought a lot of it. And I'm still in on him as a player. And I think one start, I remember being at the start against the Rays on that Friday with Shohei Ohtani, where Shohei Ohtani hit that walk-off grand slam. Bobby Miller was the guy that started that game. And that really was his best start of the season. And I remember asking him after the game, I said, Bobby, is this the best you felt all season? And is this the most that you felt like the guy that you were last year? And he said, yes. And the reason why was because the swing and miss was there. In that game, he had 9 strikeouts. He went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits. And I think I'm still a believer in Bobby Miller. I truly am. I think the big key for him is, you have velocity on your fastball, but it's on the flatter side. Doesn't have a ton of run, doesn't have a ton of movement on it. His changeup really is his best pitch. Can you get more out of his slider? Can you get more comfortable with runners on base? Because that's the number one thing you look at with Bobby Miller. Can he keep runners off base? And when runners are on base, the opponent's batting average goes through the roof. So he's got to really find a way to buckle down and execute and make big pitches after he's given up a walk, after he's given up a base hit. And you just don't want things to fall off the tracks for him. I think that was the biggest difference between him and Gavin Stone. Gavin Stone could run into a lot of traffic and give up some hits, but he bounced back pretty quickly. When Bobby, it's kind of when the game goes south on him, he just can't get back on the track. So I think that there's a mental side that's in the development mode, but look, pure stuff-wise, you still gotta like him. And I think, too, for Bobby Miller, try him out as a starter. If he goes as a reliever at some point, you can benefit from that, too. And also, I think, too, he's an attractive trade piece for another organization at some point if you want to go that route. Ken Warm, D-Mac, is Crochet still in the mix? Well, I will say Friedman did say that they're going to do everything this offseason to make sure that they don't have to make trades during the regular season. Friedman said that's the worst time to make trades. It's a terrible time to make trades. And the reason is you had to give up more prospect capital. With the expanded postseason, you're competing with more teams. Like I always say, you want to buy the Halloween candy the day after Halloween. Well, with the trade deadline, you have to really, really give up top players to get any quality in return. Thankfully, you made some really good deals. I mean, Miguel Vargas was traded in the deal for Tommy Edman, and you got Michael Kopech in that deal. But as far as Crochet, I think it's going to be dealt this offseason. If the Dodgers feel like they want to move off some of this young talent, and you want basically a fifth ace, sixth ace, I think at Crochet, it's like basically playing fantasy baseball in a league with, I don't know, one team, Antonio. I mean, come on, man. If you get Crochet and you get Roki, then I'm going to die of laughter watching baseball Reddit, though.
It'd be game over.
Game over. Absolutely. Hey, D-Mac, how far away is Jackson Ferris from the show? He's going to need some time. I mean, Jackson Ferris is still on the way up. He still is trying to advance. We had him on the show last week. And look, in AA, once you kind of get past that, then you can kind of start to see the show. And we saw Andrew Friedman kind of make his first AA jump a couple seasons ago, but typically you need a pitcher to go from AAA to the show. But I think that he's down the line. He's down the line. And he's still really, really young. I mean, Jackson Ferris is he's not even old enough to drink. So at least he might have turned 21, but he was 20 last season. Don't know his exact birth date. Let's see. Jackson Ferris is, yeah. You look at his age, he's still incredibly young. So he's still a year or two away at the very least, but we'll see. I mean, he's got a lot of talent. We got, where's Gavin Stone with his recovery? Yeah, Gavin Stone, it's going to be some time for Gavin Stone. You're probably not going to see him for a while, of course. I mean, talk about his 2024 season. No one really expected him to kind of step up the way that he did. The first year, it looked like he was the guy that everyone's talking about, right? He was Dodgers minor league pitcher of the year, and he got all of the hype. And really the problem with him in year one was he was a two-pitch pitcher. Change-up fastball, didn't really have anything going east and west to keep hitters off balance. Well, he had a really good year in his second year, and really, I think, too, here's something I hope for. When the Dodgers get their rings, in 2025, the Gavin Stone gets one hell of an ovation. Because where the heck would this team be? A team that won 98 games if it weren't for Gavin Stone. He pitched 140 in the third innings. I mean, he made every single scheduled start in his 25 scheduled starts this season. He also led the team in wins. Not a big win guy. He's going to DFA that at some points off season. A 3.53 ERA, 3.95 expected ERA. And by the way, look at his game log. His last strikeout of the season was against Jock Peterson. But the issue was the right shoulder inflammation in early September. And it was, is he going to be back by the time the postseason rolled around? Kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit. And it turned out that he was going to miss the rest of the season, and he would ultimately undergo shoulder surgery. So he had successful shoulder surgery in October, and it's pretty much a 95% chance you won't see him in 2025. So you're probably going to see him in 2026. He is 27 years old, and he still has a lot of potential, but you're not going to see Gavin Stone until 2026, most likely. We got Elias Elizondo. What's up, D-Mac? You can't have a ho, 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 Merry Christmas without T-A-O. T-A-O. Hope I did that right for you. I met Tony Taters and Noel at Tommy Edmonds signing last Saturday. Elias Elizondo. We appreciate it. It's a great comment. Give you a Let's Go Dodgers for that. Michelada Poppy, Antonio El Toro lookalike. Okay, I like that one. Yeah, for sure. That means he has to shave the beard again. No, don't do that. That was our lowest viewed show that we had all year. It's when he had no beard.
Trust me, my girlfriend hated it too.
Oh man, there you go. Joe Torre. What's up, Joe Torre? How would you feel about CJ Abrams? Why does guys always bring up a CJ Abrams trade? It's not. They're not trading CJ Abrams. Whoever this is has asked a lot about CJ Abrams. Jose says Dodgers should get 5 guys in the stadium. And they need 26 guys. 26 guys that can win. No, if they need 5 guys in the stadium, then you can eat 5-guy burgers and watch 6 guys pitch on the mound. There you go. I like that. You cooked with that one, Jose. Me, myself, if the Dodgers get Roki Sasaki, then the Dodgers will have the greatest starting rotation in Major League Baseball all time. Yeah, I'm calling them the murderers rotation, man. I mean, it's on paper absurd, but let's not forget what happened in 2021 when they entered the year after signing Trevor Bauer and the rotation they had. And look, injuries occur. A couple more walk-off shots. We've got Joe May. I like Michael Soroka from the White Sox. Awful starter, but same as Kopech. Yeah, I mean, you got to really take every single counting stat and advanced metric when you're the White Sox with a grain of salt. If you put in the Dodger blue, you expect different results. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button on the way out. Comment down below. What is your Dodgers 6-man rotation to open the season look like? Let me know down below in the comment section. If anything breaks later, we'll be going live. We might even go live just to go live because the hot stove is heating up. It's not just simmering right now. That thing is heating up, and we could get announcements at any minute in the next couple of days. So we got the Teo, we're working with Kike, Blake Trinan, other stuff will be ready and live as soon as anything breaks. So check us out over Dodgers Nation, YouTube, on Instagram, on the X. Remember, that brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue. Actually, a super chat at the end. Got it onto the super chats. 199. Any info on Alex Freeland making his debut? Yeah, I mean, Freeland's another guy. Ton of potential. You're not going to see the debut, though. I mean, the next debut we're going to get is going to be Dalton Rushing. And I think that you'll see Dalton Rushing making a corner outfield debut, unless there's a slew of injuries. But Freeland, I'm going to try to get him on the show next week. So be on the lookout for that. But that's going to do it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Like I said, remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue.